That being said, I am going to turn it over to Lee. Let me introduce you, Lee. Lee is from Glean. His demo is going to be Meet Glean, simple, effective note-taking for everyone. It's Lee Chambers is going to do that. And Lee, I'm going to give you a 1-minute warning. You'll see me pop up, and I'll say something as we get closer because we are strict about timelines on this so that we end perfectly on time for everybody that's here who expects to be gone in an hour. So we appreciate that. And we appreciate all of you for joining us. And we'll have a prize after Lee's presentation. So Lee, take it away. Thanks.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, David. I am just going to start sharing my screen. If you could just confirm you could see it, that would be fantastic. Yeah, nodding your head. Does that mean you can see it? Yes. Good, good. Okay, so like David said, my name is Lee. I work for Glean. Glean has been around for a long time now. The company used to be called Sonocent, and we specialize in note-taking software. You might be able to tell from my accent that I am based in England, a little place called Newcastle in the northeast of England. My plan for today is to spend 15 minutes demonstrating the software to you, and then maybe pointing you in the direction of a couple of useful resources that you might find helpful to review afterwards. But what I would certainly encourage everyone to do, if you have time, is to give the software a go yourself. Hopefully the demonstration will help you understand what it's all about, but I strongly feel that there's nothing better than just giving this software a go. And I'm more than happy to set all of you up with free Evaluate accounts if you request them. There is a link that I can give you to request that, or you can email me directly. My email is there on the screen now. So that is my little introduction. I want to get now straight into the demonstration. So Glean itself is designed to help you or help anybody who finds note-taking a challenge. So this tends to be students, but it doesn't have to be students. It can be employees who find it difficult taking notes in meetings. But the vast majority are students who are using this in a classroom type of environment. And it's a bit of software that is going to help you write your own notes. It is not going to write the notes for you. And that is a distinction between the two of them. Now, you access Glean and use it either in a web browser. It is a cloud-based application. So you would do this in either Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge, or you can use your mobile device. I am going to show you how to do it on both sides of them, but we're going to start off by doing this on our laptop. So as you can see, this is the laptop on this side. My phone is displayed on the other side. We'll come back to that in a minute or two. So the common way you're going to be using this is to help you in a classroom. And I'm going to show you the basic functionality of this and how it can assist. So what you would do before class starts, or when it's about to start, is you would open up Glean and then go in and create a new event. Always best to give this a title before you get started. So we're all going to be, I can never type this when I'm doing demonstrations. I'm trying to type physics. There we go. Physics 1.21. We're all going to be students in a physics lecture right now. Now you can import handouts, lecture slides into here. You don't have to. It's not essential to using the software, and we'll come back to that in a minute or two. I just want to show you the very basics to get started with. So when class starts, the idea is that you start recording what's being said. So you go and click that record button, and you just need to decide where you want to record from, because Glean's designed to work equally well if you're in the room, same room as the person doing the talking, so in-person environments. But you can also use it in these types of environments, remote, blended learning, online sessions. So if you're on a Teams call, Zoom, Google Meet, whatever it might be, or even if you're watching a video and you want to take notes on that, you can use Glean in those environments. You just need to choose either to record from your microphone or from your screen audio. Now, I'm obviously in the same room as my computer at the moment, so I'm going to choose the microphone option. So what happens is you hit that microphone button and then Glean starts capturing everything that is being said. And it also visualizes the audio that's being captured on the screen. So these gray blocks that you're seeing appearing now is just a visualization of what I'm saying. And it breaks these down based on pauses in the audio. So if I take a really long, deliberate pause, and then I start talking again, you can see how that audio visualization works. Now, the point of recording the audio is really to free you up. Because if you're recording everything that's been said, you now don't need to worry about trying to write everything down. But equally, Glean's not just about recording the audio, because if that is all you did in an hour-long class, for example, then all you've got is a big, long audio file to try to listen back to. And most of the time, people don't want to go and relive every single second of what happened in class or in that meeting. They want to go back and revisit the important parts or the things that they didn't maybe understand. So what we enable you to do in Glean is to do some very light note-taking live in the moment. You don't have to do anything too detailed because you're recording all of the detail. You're just creating what I would describe as an outline of your notes. And there's a couple of simple ways you can do this depending on what type of note taker you are. So you can either take text-based notes or you can use our labeling system. I like to use text, so that's where I'll start off here. So let's say your professor, your teacher, whoever this is, says something and you think that's really important. I'm going to want to listen back to that later. You might just type something in here. So I type key points being said, and then I just press enter to send that note to my feed. Now, as you can see, it adds my brief note here, but very importantly, this is not just a random note. It is linked directly to the audio that I'm recording. So you can see that's not only time-stamped, but the little bullet point next to it corresponds to a moment in time in the audio. This is what allows you to be very brief with your note-taking. I don't need to write out the details of what that key point is because I've captured the key point in the audio. I just need a simple way to be able to get back to that later on after class when I've got more time so I can flesh that out in more detail. And it really is as simple as that in terms of the principle of using this. We're capturing our audio and we're tagging it so that those two things talk to each other. Now, you can just use text if you want, but some people will find any type of text entry while they're trying to listen and pay attention to be a challenge. So if that's you, you can use these labeling systems instead. The labels allow you to do the same thing. It just removes the text element from this. So let's say you heard something and you thought that's really important. I need to make a note of that. You could just click and hold the important label for a moment. It will do as it did before. It adds that as a note and links it to the audio, only this time it's not a basic bullet point. You have that little important symbol, so you know that that's an important note. And we've kept this really easy. We've got 3 different types of labels here, things that are headings, things that are important, and something that you want to review. The one of these that is slightly different from the others is the heading label. The heading is going to do exactly what you would expect it to do. It's going to put a heading in your notes. So I will use this in meetings when we're going through different agenda points, for example. So as you can see, when you apply the heading label, it pops a heading in here, and it also breaks your audio up into a new section as well. Now, just in case you're wondering, you can combine those 2 approaches if you want. It's not a case of text or labels. You can have both of them. So, for example, somebody might be telling you about a question on an exam that's coming up. So you type exam question, then you identify, oh, well, that's really important. So I'm also going to label that as an important note as well. So there's not a direct way you have to do this. You use it whichever way you find most comfortable. And that's really the fundamentals of what you would do with Glean Live in the moment. A lot of the people who use this software, they're also using it in bigger lecture type of environments where they're also using handouts and lecture slides whilst the professor's talking. So what you can do is you can also bring that information into your notes as well. Now, you can bring that in before you start recording. You can bring it in after you've finished recording, or you can do it during the recording like I'm about to now. So I've got some nice slides on time travel that I'm going to import into here just to show you how this works. It's nice and straightforward. You can import slides as PowerPoint or PDF. I'm just going to open up a PDF. And when you've added them into your notes, they just sit at the side here, ready for you to use. You can click to enlarge if you want, click to minimize. Now, when you want to add these to your notes, it couldn't be simpler. So if you want to add one of these slides at any point in time, you just use the big post slide button. So one click on there will add that slide to here. Very simple. And you've also got forward and back arrows as well, because quite often slide decks are not always gone through in the order in which they are created. So sometimes you need to skip through and forwards and backwards through slide decks. So if you need to do that, it's not a problem. You can just use these arrows to go exactly where you need to be and then post your slides to your notes. And then, of course, continue on with note taking as before, using the labels or the text or whatever suits you. And that's all you really need to know about capturing information and tagging it so that you can get back to it nice and easily afterwards. But this is all done on the laptop. You're not always going to have your laptop with you. But a lot of people will not go anywhere without their mobile phones. So you'll be pleased to know you can do this with a mobile app as well. So if you just draw your attention to the right-hand side of the screen now, I'm actually going to make this bigger so you can see it a little bit easier. This is just my iPhone, okay? And you've got a Glean app in here as well. So I'm just going to very quickly show you that you can do a very, very similar thing on here. So same principle as before, we go and create a new event. I'm just going to call this one mobile so we can see that it's different, and then start the recording. Now, of course, it looks a little bit different when you're doing this on your mobile phone. You don't have as much space to work with. It doesn't do the audio visualization, but you can see that it's recording, and you can still tag it using the same tools as I did before. So if you want to add a text note, you just tap into the text note area and start. And if you want to add any of the labels, you just tap on the labels you want to use. So we'll add an important label like we did before, and we'll add a heading label. The one additional tool you've got when you're recording with your mobile phone, though, is the ability to take pictures, because your phone or your tablet has got a camera. I think all of them have cameras these days. So this is handy if you want to snap a quick image, if that might be a writing on a whiteboard or some scribbles you've done on a piece of paper or a slide that you want to take a picture of. You can very easily go and grab a picture of whatever you need. Now, this picture is not going to be very light because it's quite dark in my room, as you can probably tell, but I'm just grabbing a quick picture of the leaflet that I've got in front of me. So the point here is that using either your laptop or your mobile phone, you can record everything that's said in wherever you're using this, and you can tag that information to make it easy to go back to afterwards. And the only other thing to say about the platform, and what's really nice about this, is that everything that I've been doing so far, you do not need an internet connection for. Glean works entirely offline, which is really good when you can't always guarantee to have an active internet connection when you're moving around between classes. When you do have an internet connection, though, it also syncs everything you do up to a cloud account, which is quite handy because it means that if I record on my mobile phone and then I come back home later and I want to listen back to that on my computer, the two things sync up with each other. And you can see that it's pretty instant because the mobile recording I just done on my phone is already available for me to go and access on my computer. And it's an instantaneous thing. So it's a very slick tool. But it's not the complete story with using this, though, because all I've really been showing you so far is how to capture the information and start to organize it and make a little bit of sense of it. Your job afterwards is still to go back into those notes and then flesh them out, add more detail to them. So that's the part that I'm going to move on to for the end of this. And I'm going to bring in an example file with a little bit more information in it than the one I've just recorded. So this is one we did earlier. So this is what a finished file might look like after you've done your recording. I'm just going to get rid of my mobile phone now so we can pop this into full screen. Makes it a bit easier to see. So as you can see, I've recorded all my audio, I've added some slides, I've made some brief notes in here, but it's not a complete set of notes. But I can turn that into a really easy set of notes just by reviewing the parts that I want to review and typing my notes up in more detail. And that's really simple to do. You just play back the parts that you want to play back. When it comes to playing things back, by the way, we have the ability to change the speed if you have a particularly fast talker. We've got some audio cleanup tools that help improve the clarity of recordings as well. And you can also play it back in two different ways. You can either pop your cursor into the timeline and hit play, or what I tend to do is just hover over one of these brief notes I made and then just hit the play button directly above it. So let me just replay back this note.
For your first assignment on this course, you'll be asked to analyse the extent to which sci-fi movies obey the scientific rules of time travel. There'll be more information on that at the end of today's lecture. Now, the idea is, because I'm doing this in my own time now, I can listen to that as many times as I need and then go in here and write my notes up in as much or as little detail as I feel I need to do. It really is as simple as that. But you also have another little option for this, because you might have noticed when I finished doing my recordings earlier, a little button popped up asking if I wanted to convert the audio I've recorded into text. Because you can transcribe all of the audio that you've recorded so that when you come to play it back afterwards, you not only have the option of listening to it, but you can listen to it and read through the transcript as well. So just to show you a little example of this, I'm currently in the audio mode. If I jump over to the text mode, you'll see that when I play this back, you can get that dual audio and text. So I'm just going to play exactly the same part back. For your first assignment on this course, you'll be asked to analyse the extent to which sci-fi movies obey the scientific rules of time travel. There'll be more information on that at the end of today's lecture. And as you can see, it highlights the sentence and the word as it's being spoken to help you stay on the line of text a little bit easier. Now, I do like the transcript because it gives you an option, an additional option for playback, but it also means that you can grab snippets of that transcript and add them to your notes, because sometimes what the professor has said, you want that to form the basis of your notes, and it's easier sometimes to copy that across than it is to write it all out again in detail. So let's say you wanted to grab that paragraph. All you would need to do is highlight this. A little icon comes up asking you to post it. And when you click on post, it will grab it from here, pop it into your notes, and then you can do what you want with it. You can leave it as it is, or you can go and add to it, reword it, do whatever you feel is necessary. So the point being that the transcription is there to help aid the note-taking process. It's not there to replace it. And another cool little thing you can do, which is very similar to this, in that I've grabbed snippets from my audio and I've added them to my notes. You can also grab snippets from your slides and add them to your notes as well, which is often quite useful when there's a lot of text-based information on slides. So if I just scroll down to the bottom here, I've got a nice slide I can demonstrate this on. So we're reviewing slide 10, and there's some information on here I want to grab. If you want this, all you need to do, click this little icon, and it captures all of the text from here, and again, puts it into your notes. So this is all about capturing the information, trying to make some sense of it, and using that information intelligently to create your own personalized set of notes. And I think you can pick this up in pretty quick time. Now, hopefully, once you've been through this process, you will then end up with a file that looks a little bit more like this one here. This will be your complete set of notes, and you can view it whenever you want within Glean. If you want to simplify the viewing process, we have a reading view you can jump into, which displays this as a more traditional set of notes. You can also get it out of Glean if you really want as well. You don't necessarily have to keep it in here. You can print it very easily from here. What I tend to do, though, I like to use Google Documents. So we've got a button in here which will copy everything to your clipboard in one click. And then you can go wherever you want these notes to end up. This could be Microsoft Word, Google Documents, OneNote, wherever you like to work.
and paste your notes in here. And that is Glean in a nutshell. I would very much recommend you, if you haven't already asked for access to this, to ask for it, because I'll give you it for free. That is not a problem at all. And also you might find this page useful that I have set up. I will pop this in the chat pane, this URL, because it contains all of the information you could possibly really need about Glean. So we've got little explainer videos explaining all of the key functionality in a short period of time, slideshows. And if you want to find out more about this, you can book demonstrations with myself, or you can join some of the more public webinars where we go into the software in a little bit more detail. And that is everything that I wanted to cover, and hopefully within the time. So I don't know if there's any questions that anyone of the co-hosts wants to ask me. Of course, you can always get back in touch afterwards and drop me an email if need be. But that's everything I wanted to cover. David, I'm looking at you. Are there any questions you want to field to me?
You got 1 minute, but a little less than a minute. But I just want to let you know that there were lots of little comments and questions in the chat area. One of the questions, and I think you should just answer this really quickly, if you have an answer, deals with the accommodation related to recording a classroom. And some folks in schools and universities, some of the teachers and instructors saying, no, you can't record it. There were comments posted about it being in the IEP, therefore an accommodation, which is what I believe in, and therefore permission to record. However, you guys have faced this question. I'm wondering if you have a response to that real quick.
It all depends on the policies of the individual institutions. I mean, I've just started working with colleagues in North America recently, but speaking from my experiences in the UK, pretty much all universities now recognize that they have a legal obligation to provide reasonable adjustments for anyone who struggles in this area, and enabling someone to record is allowed by default. What they tend to do with those is have a policy where a professor can ask you to stop recording if there's particularly sensitive information that shouldn't be captured. But I think they realize that if somebody really wants to record, they're going to do it. You can do this on a free application on your phone. So better to control it by having a better policy in place, and people know exactly where they stand with it. That tends to be how people approach it in the UK, at least.
Awesome. And you'll go back through and look at this chat as we go on to the next stuff. But Lee, thank you very much for sharing Glean with us. I know that lots of folks are really interested, and some folks who may not have known that you guys are out there. So I'm glad we were able to have this opportunity for you. I'm going to move right along. Thanks, Lee.
Thanks.